Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Faculty Lounge this week. We're glad you could stop by. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your Thursday. I just think I had a little glitch on my computer. Justin, did you have any glitches? Anyway, let's just move right along. Anyhow, we are grateful for Justin Brooksby today from our office for taking time to prepare a presentation about using the Smart Notebook software. This is the software that comes with the smart boards, and I know lots of teachers have smart boards, but I think most are probably not too aware of how great of a tool they can be. So anyway, I'm going to let Justin get right to work or get right to his presentation. So if you have a comment or a question, feel free to enter it down in the chat room in the lower left. So thanks a lot, Justin. It's all yours.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, we may have had a glitch there. We lost some people too, so hopefully they can get back in. So, smartboards, the funny thing is they're a little bit new to me, and we got a new smartboard here in our lab, and I started to play with the software and found it to be very good. So I wanted to share a little bit about the software with you today. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can kind of see the resources that I'm sharing. Okay, so see my screen now. The first thing I wanted to share with you is that if you go to smarttech.com, this link right here, you don't need the rest of this. You just delete that. I'm going to show you where you can get the software. So, and the great thing about this software is we're on version 14 right now, but you can actually get the older versions for free. And there's really not that much difference between them. So if you have a school that wants smart software, smart notebook software, but they don't have the funds to pay for it, they can get it for free actually. If you go to this website here and click on education, and then you go to where it says support, and then go to software downloads, this is where you can get the software right here. And this is the software I'm showing you, the Smart Notebook Collaborative Learning Software. And if you click on here, you have versions for both Windows and Mac. This is the latest version, 14.2. But if you want it for free, if you download version 11.4 or earlier, you can use that for free and does not require a license key. If you do 14.2, you'll get a 90-day, I believe it's 90-day free trial, and then it won't let you use it anymore. So that is the first great thing, is you can download that software. And then the second thing that you might not know about this software is you can use it with any touchscreen device that you want. So if the school has like a Promethean board, for example, you can use the Smart Touch software with a Promethean board. Any device that you have that is touchscreen, you can use this, and students, teachers can interact with it. Okay. So what I want to show you today are some interactive games you can make with the smartboard. So it's more than just a very expensive whiteboard. You should be doing more than that with it. So one of the first things, I'm going to show you some examples of different types of lessons, and then we'll show you how to make those. So if there's this website called Smart Exchange, and you see the address there, exchange.smarttech.com. And if you go there, there's already some interactive lessons that have been created by other teachers. And so you can see there's different subjects and grades that they're organized into. There's teacher recommended resources, and the other ones are kind of the top downloads. So these are kind of some activities that have already been made. So for example, if you clicked on this one would be a map of the United States, and you could drag each one of the states onto the map to find out where they go. Okay, so that's all great, but you want to know how to make those for yourself, because you may have a lot of great ideas. Okay. So let me show you that. One more thing, if you need help with any of these, there is this online help.smarttech.com, and it will do a walkthrough on creating any of these types of activities that I'm going to show you. Okay. So here on my screen, I have a couple different examples. This is my frog. Um, I guess we'll call this a sorting game. Okay. So this is kind of a sorting slash matching game. And in this game, if you take any one of these objects, you can drag it over to the frog and see if it is something that a frog would eat. So if we took a dragonfly, for example, and dragged it over to the frog, it's going to like it and eat it. If we drag a candy over to the frog and drop it in its mouth, it's going to reject it and send the candy back to our lineup. Okay, so we can try these different things. The students would come up to the board and you'd have them try dragging and dropping some different items into the frog's mouth to see if he ate them. Okay, so those are the ones that don't work. I was doing this with my daughter. She's in kindergarten, and it got to the point where she was making up games on her own. So you could even get to the point where you have students create these games, and you could have the software downloaded on a computer in a lab, and they can, with some help of a teacher, um, make these games. So, for example, my daughter wanted a dress-up game. We put a doll in there, and then you could put clothes on the doll, and okay, Tim's doing a lot of rustling around over there. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to create a new page right here by clicking on this icon. And if you notice, there's my first page, my second page is right here. It's just a clean page. Okay, so this tab over here will dictate that I want to work on a page. Now, if I want to get some resources for my page, I can come down to this icon picture here and click on it. And when I installed the software, I opted to have the gallery imported into my computer. And what that does gives me access to a lot of free resources. So the frog, for example, that you saw me use, I can just do a search here and find a frog. Okay. And as I searched, it gave me these different folders here. And if I open up pictures, I have pictures of the frogs. And so I just took this frog and you click on him and drag him where you want onto your screen. Okay. So we have a frog, and now we want some things that a frog might eat. So I just typed in insects, and we'll come down to the pictures, and we can find some insects that that frog would eat. So I don't know, do frogs eat bees? It probably stings them, so I don't know. Um, let's put an ant. I've seen a frog eat an ant. This might even be a good lesson for me, right? Um, we can put this dragonfly. Okay, so we're just going to put two images on there for now. Okay, now let's think of some things that frogs don't eat. So if we type in garbage, let's see what we get. We've got some pictures. Okay, so maybe, you know, he doesn't eat a trash can. The kids will think that's funny. And then we can find some fruit. And let's just pick an apple. Okay. Now, if you have it here and it's too big, you can just click on the corner here and resize it to the size you want it to be. You know, I don't think the frog would eat this dragonfly, but probably eat this dragonfly. Okay. So now that we have all of our objects on the screen, what we want to do is go into our activity builder. And if you go on the left here, it looks like this piece of puzzle right here. So if you click on that, it's going to bring us into this activity builder here. I'll click on that. The first thing you want to do is identify the main object. And the main object is the object that they'll be dragging the items to. So in this case, it's a frog. So what you want to do is just go over here and click on the frog. Okay, and then we're going to hit edit here. And now that it knows what our main object is, it has kind of this cross pattern over the top of it, and that identifies your main object. So then we have different actions that can take place. And so this would be the items that are accepted, so the items that the frog would eat. We'd put them there, and so what we can do is drag this item here and stick it in there. So now I have a little picture of the dragonfly, and I can see that is an item that would be eaten. Okay, and the next one's an ant. I can drag the ant over and put that in there. Now, if you have a bunch of items and you want to just add all the rest of them real quickly, you can just click this Add All Remaining button down here. And so what that does is just takes everything else on the screen and puts it into the reject box there. Okay. Now you can see a green check mark next to all the accepted items and an X next to the not accepted items. If we want to make any changes to the actions of these items when we drag and drop them, we can go to settings here, and here's the different actions we can take. So for example, when it's accepted, our animation is fade out. So in my example you saw, when I put the item on top of the frog, it disappeared. Okay. So our animation when it is rejected is a bounce back, so it goes back into place. There's different options here, so you can have the item fly out, snap to center, etc., and then when they're rejected, I guess that's the only one for you. You can have no action take place. The other thing you can do is associate a sound with these objects, okay? Now if you check this, you can have a sound playing. So maybe what you want to do is if the frog eats this ant, it makes a sound like yum 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 yum, eats the ant. So you have to create a sound first though, and if you click on the item you want to make a sound, click down on this drop box. You can go to sounds here, and you can um, actually just record a sound right here, or you can find a file to play a sound. So when I was doing this with my daughter, for example, we were just creating some sounds. I was actually having her record her voice. She thought that was really fun. So I just pushed the record button and let her speak, and then turn it off, and then we had our file. So the kids like doing that if they're going to be making the interactive games. Okay. So just make sure that you have a sound associated and recorded with each one of the objects. You don't need one for the main object, just these right here. And then make sure that you have the check mark next to it, and then a sound will play as well. So for my purposes, I'm not going to do that. Okay. When I'm all done, I can just hit the done button down here in the corner, and my activity is ready to go. And if I take any of these, for example, now and drag them on top, then we can see how it works. Okay. Now, something that happens a lot is now you get all of your objects gone, but for the next student that comes up, you want to know, well, how do I get everything back? Well, what you can do is come in, hit this activity builder again, and then hit this button that says reset all, and everything goes back into place. And if you get tired of this bar coming back and forth, you can actually just auto hide it, so when you click on the screen it disappears. Okay. So that's how you can reset that. Now if you need to make any changes, you need to, if you hit this identify, it will tell you what your main object is, and then if you click on it you can edit, and then you can go back and change any of the settings. Okay. So one more thing that I'll mention, because sometimes when I do this, this will happen to me. I'll get the items put in wrong, and this kind of works like a PowerPoint. If you right click on any of the objects, you have this different set of items you can use, and sometimes I have them in the wrong order. So everything is on its own layer, and so if, like this for example, if I send the trash can to the back, then what happens when the student goes over to drag it, see how it's behind the frog? It doesn't look as good. So what you want to do is just make sure that your main item is in the order of send to back, and then when you drag something, it's in front of it. It just, I don't know. I don't know anything about animation, but it just looks better like that. Okay, so that's the first activity that I wanted to show you. Second activity, if I just go back to my pages up here, I have kind of a reveal game here. And so this is going to be a game where you guess what the object is behind the box on the bottom. So what am I? And what I did in this one is I create an activity where what you do is you grab the eraser up here. I'm going to click on the eraser, and I have the students go up and just erase a little bit of this, and they can try to guess what it is. So they'll say, okay, we're just going to erase this part. Okay, and so what am I? Um, then we're going to give them some clues. So what they can do is come up here, and we're just going to peek behind here and see what our clues are. So it lives in the ocean. Okay, the students are guessing, they don't know. Um, so any type of facts that you want them to learn about this item, this one's an animal. Um, we're going to erase a little bit more so the student can come over here and they can erase a little section here to see what it is and keep on guessing. So we'll just look and see what our different options are. And if they haven't guessed by now, you can come over here and erase the rest of it. And on the smart board, this is really fun because they can just kind of make a fist, and with the side of their fist, they can start erasing on the board, and they can see that it is a whale. Okay, so let me show you how I did this activity. Okay, I'm going to create a new page, and it's just gives me a new page at the bottom here. And so the basics of making this is that you're just putting an object on the piece of paper and then you're drawing over the top of it. Okay, so let me get a picture here. This is going to be a whale. And I go down to my pictures here. And let's do a killer whale this time. I'm just going to drag my killer whale. And then I'm going to click on him, make him a little bit bigger. Okay, so now I've got Shamu there. And now what I want to do is I'm coloring on top of them. So if I come into my tools here and go to my pens, and I select a pen, I want to make sure I get white because my background's white, and then that's all I'm really doing is drawing over the top of this. So see how I just draw on top of it? I can make that, oh, that's my transparency. Let's see. Now I don't remember where my sizes are. Okay, so here, erase them. This would be me erasing the whale. So if you get a bigger pen, I don't remember where my pen size is. Um, oh, here it is. Okay, pen size. There we go. Okay, so that's really kind of a layer there, a layer object. And um, you can see really it's just me drawing on there, so that's all it is. So then, now that it's erased, you can put whatever else you want up on the screen, and then when the student comes and grabs the eraser, it's just going to erase part of it. So that's kind of the reveal games. So you can get creative, do different things with this. There's different ideas that you can do, but that's the basics of how to do it. And the other piece I created, on this is just, I just create a box. I'm just sliding it over the top of these. And make sure that when you're doing this, it's the order. So you want to make sure these boxes are in the front so that they actually go over the words. And that's it. And if you don't like the dragging like that, you can click on these items when you're on the smart board and you can just delete them like that. Okay. The next game that I made here has kind of that same concept of the erasing game to it, but this one I decided to do it with math. And so what you do on this game is you can have a student go up to the board and they can draw in their answer um, right here where the line is. So 2 times 1, they can put 2, so they can go down through and do that. You can have them take turns, have different students go up. Um, and you could use lots of different types of math games for this, but the basic example I have here is once they get all the answers written in here, so for example, they would go down, have 2, have 4, okay, once they get all these written in here, they could go up and erase the answer and see if they got it correct, okay? So the way that you're doing this is very similar to how I showed you with the whale. There's just a lot more elements involved. And if I click on this plus sign, I'll just show you real quick how this one works. So basically, you just have your equation that you type out, and then you just grab this line maker tool here, and if I hold the shift down key, it'll keep it nice and flat for me. Okay, so I have that. Oops, got one extra line there. Okay, and now I want my box that I want this to go into. So, oh, that's a circle. Okay, so right here, grab my box. Okay, might be a little bit hard being that small, so make it bigger. Okay, so then what you want to do is type all the answers in this box here. So if you click on the text button, you can type in the answer here, and then center it up like that. And then once you go down through and do the whole thing, then you can go in with your pen element and make sure you grab the white again. And then you're just going to come in here and just erase the numbers like that. Okay, so it's all set to go. Now with these, it's great because once you go through and do these, oops, if you want to bring this page back, so you don't have to go through and erase it all, what you can do is come to the page, and if you click on this drop down, if you hit this reset page, it's just going to reset the page to the last saved state, and so it erases everything again. Okay, so just don't save your item again while you're in the middle of an activity, okay, or else you'll have to redo it. So that's a little trick on that. Now, one of the last games that I made that I'm going to show you is a combination of different elements that I've put together. So this one, my son is he's in 4th grade. I can think about what grade he's in. He's in 4th grade, and he's been bringing his math homework every day, and I've been helping him with it. He's been doing factors, and he really struggles with it because he hasn't memorized any multiplication yet. So this would be a game that you could do with students. And what it is here is you have students determine the factors of 24. And if they get it right, it's a hit, and if they get it wrong, it's a strike. Okay, so if they take, for example, 2, they can click and drag the 2 here, and when I put it over the tip of the bat here, this little spot, I'm going to make it fly away like he hit the ball. So there, he got it right. So he hit it, and it goes flying. Okay, so what they can do is just go through here and just test them out. Now if I had something like 5, for example, what's going to happen is it's just going to snap back to place. Yeah, 5 is wrong. Okay, so the kids like to just go through and guess everything, but if they're doing it up on the board with the class, you can say, you got that one wrong. Go up and give yourself a strike. So they would come up here and they'd click on the strikes, and if they click on it, they get 1 strike. Okay, so if they did a 8, for example, they could keep going, and then let's say they put a 9, oh, strike again. Okay, and then you have the 3 strikes, and then they're out. Okay, so this is an example of a different game that has a couple different elements involved. And the one element that I haven't showed you that this game has, because I've showed you all these others, this is just a snap back into place, and then this, the correct answer is actually just the action is instead of fading away, it's shooting off into a direction. Okay. So this one right here involves some just animation, and so any of these elements, you can apply animation to it. So for example, if I find a baseball here, Now, let's see. I think there's an X in here for baseball. Okay, let's see. Let's do stars. Okay. If you have star, for example, you can take this star, and if you click on it, you can um, okay, you can go to properties, and you can go to object animation right here. Okay. Now, what I did on the strikes is I took this and I selected a fade in property for it. So when it starts, it's kind of faded out. Okay. So then what happens is when you're playing the game, if they go and they click on it, uh, it does a fade in. No, no, it's not going to work for me. Okay, then you click on it and it does a fade in. So that was just an animation. I just put the three different X's and then put the command on click fade in. Okay, and then everything else on that page is just stuff that we've already kind of talked about. So um, a couple more things I'll show you. This I grabbed out of the library. It was kind of neat. This is kind of geospatial mapping type items, and you just click on the sound and it tells you where the building's located. Like I'm north of the lake, and you can go and put it on there. So I thought that was fun. Um, the other thing that's you can put into these games are um, like flash files. So this one, for example, is a clock, and the students can go up and move the hands of the clock around and have the different times displayed. Um, the one other one I was going to show you that had something that I liked on it is this Homeworkopoly game. And this one had something fun on it. It had some dice. And so these ones were dice. You could click on these dice in your game, and it just randomizes a number on those. So these are kind of neat. You can, those are already made for you. So if you go up into the gallery here and you start looking at the contents, I'm just going to go to Gallery Essentials. I'm going to type in dice up here. Oops, dice. Okay, see how I have this interactive and multimedia options down here? So I have a bunch of different dice that I can put on there. So if I take like this one, for example, there's different languages. You can have it talk after it rolls it if you want. I'm just going to take this dice and I'm going to drag it. Okay, now this element, I can click on it and it automatically rolls for me. So um, it's pretty cool. So if you want another one, you can just take another dice and just grab it, put it on there. Okay, so there's lots of fun items in here. This one would be great too. Like if you want to put your own words on here, you can have this dice, and if you click on this, you can have different choices happen. Maybe you put names, or maybe you have an action that they put in there, and you can make it so it doesn't repeat, so it only gets drawn up once. And then once you click this, those items you typed in will pop up on the dice. So another fun element to put into the game. This one, even if I get something, I click on this arrow and it will spit that out here for me so we can see what we just rolled. So the dice are great additions. And the other things that are in here that you might like is there's some 3D uh, 3D modeling images in here that are fun to look at. Um, let's see, we can find them. Let's see. Yeah, now I won't find it. Uh, well, they're in here, but I am running out of time. So it may be in this 3D warehouse here. But you can search around for those. Shoot me an email. I'll tell you where those are at. And you can check those out. So let me see if there's any questions here. Okay. Oh, and this is why this program doesn't work well on iPads. Yeah, I know that there's a smart notebook um, software for the iPad, but I haven't used it yet. I don't know if anyone that's watching this has used it before. And I don't know how, probably doesn't work well with the flash items, of course. Um, but are there any other questions? Yeah, it doesn't allow you to use interactives because of flash. So maybe one of these days this will be converted over to something other than flash that it will work with. Okay. Well, I appreciate this time that I've been able to share this with you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. So, thank you.
All right, great. Hey, thank you, Justin, for that great presentation. It's fun to see some of the capabilities that a lot of us aren't aware of that software. All right, guys, well, we're going to wrap up for today. Thanks for coming and stopping by. I just want to pull up next week's schedule here, so you can kind of see what's on our schedule. You can see next week we've got Rob Bentley, and he's going to talk about one of these really interesting iPad apps out there called TinyTap. It's being used a ton by students in schools to create their own apps for their own iPad. So hopefully you can stop by and join us. I'm sure it will be a popular and a very good presentation. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.